These sessions are based on the book The Messiah Codes Unsealed. Hello and welcome to the Messiah Codes. Today we're going over session 53. And welcome to Temple 2030 Watch, Unsealing Prophecy Through Current Events. I'm Luis Narciso, author of the book The Messiah Codes Unsealed. Each week we look at real news and ask, could this be part of the path that leads to the dedication of the third Jewish temple in the year 2030? The Bible gives very exact timelines. If those timelines come true, it is powerful further evidence that God wrote history before it happened. I say further because in the book we first study prophecy already fulfilled, and the accuracy is simply incredible. But before we begin, I'm preparing a series where I plan to explain possible mechanisms how non-local consciousness, what we call the spirit, communicates with our reality and the biological structures that enable that communication. To that end, we will explore the 2020 Physics Nobel Prize winner Roger Penrose and Dr. Stuart Hameroff, their theory of orchestrated objective reduction.
In the larger sense, in the philosophical sense, if the Orkawar proposal is correct, it means that consciousness is really happening at the level of space-time geometry, at the Planck scale, the lowest level of the universe, between the ears and the microtubules in the brain. It makes these things possible. It makes afterlife a plausible scientific possibility. Right now, scientists say, no, that's impossible. But those scientists can't explain consciousness in the brain. They can't say that consciousness out of the brain is impossible. So I think it would have implications for the possibility, the plausibility for afterlife and out-of-body experiences. It also can explain parapsychology and all kinds of weird phenomena that seem to happen that scientists won't even consider because they don't make any sense in their context. In the context of the brain as a classical computer. Brain as a quantum computer opens the door, a Pandora's box, to all kinds of weird things that might be true after all.
It does. So would that mean that we actually have a soul? I mean, I am one of those singularity AI types who are atheists largely,
right,
and who don't believe in the soul. So what you're telling me now is that I may actually have some kind of a quantum soul?
Yes. Maybe when your body dies, you'll be in an afterlife, even if you are an atheist.
We're going to go a little bit over fractal geometry, about studies from the University of Virginia, research on consciousness, reincarnation, and the brain. We're going to learn a little bit about cellular automata, and we're going to probably go over the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics, the confirmation of particle entanglement, and the holographic universe as support for a creation theory. This is to also, for example, propose, using data, proof that refutes reincarnation, explains the experience of those claiming visions from past lives, and once more confirm the Bible's accuracy. This is with data, no opinion. I don't know to whom I will be speaking or what interest is there for such study from a biblical perspective, but the Lord put that in my heart. Now, coming back to the news. On this week, ending November 13, 2025, 3 stories stand out. Let's take them one at a time and see how they connect. First one, Syria's new president ties peace with Israel to the Golan Heights. In November 12, Syrian interim president Ahmed al-Sharaa gave an interview to the Washington Post. He said very clearly, any security agreement with Israel must include Israel's complete withdrawal from the Golan Heights. For those here for the first time and want to know what is the Golan Heights, it is a high plateau in the northeast of Israel. Israel captured it from Syria in the 1967 Six-Day War. It has beautiful farmland, important water sources, and since 2015, confirmed oil reserves that could be worth billions and billions of dollars. In 2019, the United States, under President Trump, officially recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan. Most of the world still calls it occupied Syrian territory. Ahmed al-Sharaa was born in Saudi Arabia, but his family originally comes from the Golan Heights, from that area. This is why his old name, rebel name, when he was the head of al-Nusra, the official arm of the Al-Qaeda in Syria, his nom de guerre was al-Julani, meaning the man from the Golan. He claims that President Trump in their recent meeting supports a quick solution that would return the Golan to Syria. The White House has not confirmed that yet. Why does this matter for 2030? Like we have been studying, Ezekiel chapter 38 speaks of a future northern coalition. God says that he will put hooks in the jaws of those nations and come against Israel because of its wealth. In this case, oil is the hook. In the scenarios we studied, a peaceful international coalition demanding Israel to return the Golan could be the first step that leads to the bigger events of 2027-2028. Those events, in turn, create the conditions for the Third Temple to be built and dedicated in 2030. Second, the death of Sheikh Abdul Azim Salahab, a key guardian of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. On November 13, Sheikh Abdul Azim Salahab passed away at the age of about 75. He was the chairman of the Islamic Endowment and Al-Aqsa Mosque Affair Council. That council, together with the Jordanian Waqf, has day-to-day control of the Temple Mount compound. His whole life was dedicated to protecting Muslim rights on the mountain and making sure Jewish prayer does not happen there. There is no suggestion of anything suspicious. It appears to be natural, that he died of natural causes. But the timing is striking because Jewish visits to the Mount have reached record numbers this year. When a strong voice suddenly disappears, it always creates a vacuum. Someone new will take his place, and we don't yet know how firm or how flexible that person will be. And third, Pete Hegseth and the Third Temple. Pete Hegseth is President Trump's Secretary of War. Back in 2018, while visiting Jerusalem, he gave a speech in which he said, "There is no reason the miracle of the Third Temple on the Temple Mount could not happen in our lifetime."
And today, Jennifer and I and others had a chance to go see the western wall of the Temple Mount, the western wall tunnels, so much of the old city. And as you stand there, you can't help but behold the miracle before you. And it got me thinking about another miracle that I hope all of you don't see too far away. Because 1917 was a miracle, 1948 was a miracle, 1967 was a miracle, 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle, and there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
Interesting. That video was widely shared again in February 2025 when his nomination was announced. Hegseth is a devout Christian who strongly supports Israel. Many Christians believe a rebuilt Jewish temple is part of Bible's prophecy before Jesus returns. And of course, the temple has to exist for the Antichrist to do the abomination of desolation in the middle of his reign on earth. So if he's making this sacrifice according to Daniel, and then Jesus refers to it, then there has to be a temple, a physical temple. That doesn't mean that the sacrifice is going to be accepted by God or anything like that. They may do sacrifices, just like they did from year 30 to year 70, and they themselves say in Talmud Mas Yoma 39b that God did not accept those sacrifices anymore. Having a high U.S. official who openly believes the temple could be rebuilt soon is new. It shows that the idea is no longer only discussed in small Bible study groups, it's now in the halls of power. So putting the pieces together, 3 events in 1 week. A Syrian leader with Golan family roots makes the return to the Golan a condition for peace with Israel. The longtime Muslim guardian of Al-Aqsa dies, creating uncertainty at the most sensitive site on earth. America's Secretary of War has already said on the record that a third temple is possible. These are exactly the kind of pressure points we mapped in the scenario presentation. Growing international demand on Israel's northern border, changing leadership at the Temple Mount, strong voices in the United States who see the temple as part of God's plan. If the temple is dedicated in 2030, exactly as the calculations from Genesis, Leviticus, and Ezekiel predict, you can go to those studies, session 8 through 11, it will be objective, measurable proof that we live in a reality designed by a creator who confirms his words through prophecy, as I proposed in the video titled Bible Mysteries 3, a simulation or a creation, which is it? In that video, and using the model featured in the book, I proposed a falsifiable test to prove whether we live or not in a creation, or a simulation if it's the same thing. Brothers and sisters, and hopefully future brothers and sisters who will accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior as they witness prophecy being fulfilled in real time. That's this week's update. Next week, we'll be back with fresh news. If you want to dig deeper and study the incredible precision of biblical prophecy, check the book, The Messiah Codes Unsealed in Amazon. Check sessions 8 through 11 to study all the prophetic calculations. And session 44 to 50 to study the scenario analysis involved with the third temple dedication in the year 2030. Remember, sessions 8 through 11 are not opinions. They are a deep analysis and mathematical modeling of the prophecies related to the temple. But sessions 44 through 50 are scenario analysis, projecting how we could possibly get from today's reality to the third temple on the Temple Mount on the year 2030. Again, those are scenario analysis made by me, so always take it with a grain of salt, right? Subscribe to the Temple 2030 channel here in YouTube and turn on the bell. I wonder which of these 3 stories caught your attention the most. We're witnessing history in the making. Thank you for watching. Stay watchful, stay prayerful, and until next week, Shalom.